Hi, everyone, and welcome to the AI and TechConnect podcast, where we explore how PropTech leaders are using technology, data, and strategy to reshape real estate. I'm your host, Lauren, and today I'm joined by Shaheen Lambert, CEO and managing partner of Zisla. And Zisla is rethinking how international property buying works, especially for Canadian and US buyers looking at Mexico. And they have built a platform focused on transparency, safety, and simplicity for foreign buyers entering a complex market. Cheyenne, thanks for being here. Very happy to have you here on the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me and giving me this platform to talk about Zisla.
Wonderful. I'm very, very happy to start the conversation, and let's jump right in. Um, Cheyenne, can you walk us through the origin of Zisla?
So the origin, it's a funny story. I was in university and finishing a session that was really, really hard on my physically, mentally, emotionally. And my friend had just purchased a house in Mexico, and he was like, "Oh, you need to take a little, a vacation, think about yourself, reset." I was very reluctant at first. And then I was like, you know what? Great, I'll go. And I ended up coming back like 3 years later.
Oh,
So yeah, so I
okay.
started that's how I got into the real estate a little bit in Mexico. At least that's how I got into the Mexican world. And then a few years later, when I came back, I started my company in design, interior design in Montreal. And that's kind of how I got into the real estate market in Montreal. um, I felt like my designs were not sold properly because you put a lot of yourself in your design and in the places. And I felt like the people that were selling the houses or the condos I was designing were not selling them properly. So I was like, oh, maybe I should, get my license as well. So I got my license in Canada. But then maybe like a few months into my Canadian venture, I hear someone coming into the office that is speaking Spanish, but I recognize the Spanish from Mexico. So me, super curious, walk out of the office and I'm like, hey, how are you? When we started talking, and she was in Canada to talk about a project in Cancun, which was the city I had lived in for like almost 3 years. So I was like, well, I'm your person, I'm your girl. And that's how I started selling real estate in Mexico and bridge everything together.
Okay, that's amazing. I love it. Um, okay, I mean, it's I had a series of questions, but I mean, you answered many things. Basically, this is I love this experience. Um, was there a specific moment where you realize what you do in the process is maybe broken on an international buyers, because I mean this is very international what you're doing. You advising, I think, Canadian and US to invest in Mexico. Is any any problem you wanted to solve?
I didn't see it as a problem per se, but because the real estate market in Mexico for foreigners was so young, and Mexican nationals were trying to sell to foreigners, but there was this gap that was existing there that didn't really have a structure, or didn't really uh, have the cross border knowledge to do that. And also from the Canadian, American, and European side, there was always this um this idea that one, it was hard to buy in Mexico, two, you couldn't buy in Mexico as a foreigner. So, and my friend had done it, I had done it, and I was like, well, it's really not that complicated if you're really like, if you have someone that has um a good knowledge base of both sides. So it wasn't really a problem, but more of the market was so young, that I saw an opportunity for at least back then me to have that business model, and then later on for Zisla to expand and have a lot more outreach with foreigners.
Okay, I mean, this is great. I mean, obviously, buying property abroad is usually high risk and low trust. Um, maybe, I mean, any kind of countries. From your perspective, what are the biggest friction points foreign buyers face when trying to purchase in Mexico?
Well, for me, there's always two big friction point: the reputation of Mexico. Always, people have this image that unfortunately is not what is, the image of the actual country. And two, the difference in business culture, because the difference is business culture in Mexico and a lot of Latin countries compared to, Europe, Canada, or the States is completely different, So, um, my role is to really bridge, kind of say to my foreign buyers, okay, we're on a different pace. Let's slow it down a little bit. But trust me, I understand the frustration. We're used to a different pace, but it's normal. You're in a tropical country, and that's why people go to Mexico. They want a slower pace. They want to, relax. But I'm like, you have to understand that everyone's a little bit more relaxed in Mexico, and then in Mexico be like, okay, we need to have a little bit more structure. This is a friction point for clients. If you're not answering right away they're like, oh, what's going on, like, and it creates doubt. So with my developers and the brokers in Mexico, it's really to um make them aware of those friction point, because if you're never really exposed to it, or you're never, because a lot of clients won't go and tell like people, it makes me doubt you if you don't answer right away, or if you don't write my things by email. So it's really to try to, like, fuse two business cultures that are completely different.
That's right. That's right. And what have you found works well in building that trust and guiding them through that process?
For me, it's really educating my clients and our clients. So, the more they know about the process, about what could happen, what will happen, and really, for me, it's the basis of everything. Taking out the mystery of the whole process and being like, okay, this is going to be the process. This could happen. Don't worry about, don't worry if there's a delay at one point, because, like, I told you, like, I, we can negotiate that contract in 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes it happen. It will take a week. So I try to really be proactive and really talk a lot with the clients, answer a lot of questions. Same thing with the brokers. Like, we're very into educational resources, guides, blogs. We talk a lot with our clients. So it's really communication and taking out that mystery of making it look so, foggy and mysterious. We really try to make it as clear as possible with educating people as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's very important, definitely. And you are you're also dealing with legal, regulatory, compliance barriers. How does Zisla handle those behind the scene?
So we again educating ourselves on being on top of, because it's a growing, it's an ever changing real estate market here because it's so young. So there's always new regulations. So staying on top of the regulation, like we read a lot of anything like emails. We have a Diario Oficial here that everything is published in there. So we read a lot, but also to have the right experts. We have a lot of like fiscalists, accountants, lawyers that also I really value what they have to say because, different fields will have different output and um that's how we really try to stay connected as much as possible with everything. And again, it's educating ourselves, educating the team, and having the right experts around us that can educate us as well.
Wonderful. Awesome. Let's talk technology. And how do you think digital tools or even AI um, can help improve the buyer journey in a market like yours?
um so there's so we use technology in two very different ways, so internally and externally. So externally, for the website, I think to have a platform that we're constantly trying to bring to par with, um, what the buyers know in their origin countries, like, in Canada and in the United States, there's the MLS that they know, and in Europe, there's a few other board uh, board websites like this. So we really try to provide them as much information as we possibly can. Um, right from the start. So, uh, we just had a new website that was launched 11 months ago. We went from just showing unit types. So basically, you could see a condo, and then you would see, okay, in this condo, there's one bedrooms available, two bedrooms available, three bedrooms available, and you had in one unit type all that information. In the new website, what we did is that we separated everything per unit. So now you go in a building and you'll see if there's 23 units available for sale in that in that building. You'll see the information for all these 23 units. And we're working on being able in a next phase to use AI to provide the average price per square meter in that location, the average square meter in that in that area or in that city. So that's really on for technology. That's what we're using a lot. So the clients have a clear, because um, we do mostly pre-sales, so they have to have um, a really good first view of the unit, and that's what we're trying to provide with with the new website. We try to make it really user friendly, so people see the information right away, and they get the best first phase of a unit. So that's what we do in external, and then internally we use AI right now to be able to standardize contracts. So let's just say I take my contracts because obviously, like we said, there's pain points. There's things that come back in the contracts that are always the same pain points with my developers. Penalties, um, grace periods. So we take AI and we try to find formulas to be able to assess the right grace period for every single project. So basically, we will take what they call the memoria descriptiva, and we'll run it through AI. And with the formula that we've created with the help of AI will be able to be okay. Well, this project should have a grace period of 6 months because A, B, and C. So then I have a tool with I that we go in front of the developers or we go in front of their lawyers and we're like, listen, this is the grace period that was calculated by a third party, not by my opinion, not by your opinion, by like AI. And then we can and we try to alleviate those pain points like that internally with AI. um, so that's a lot how we use technology, but I think we're in an era that we're so lucky to have these tools because just little things in having to correct reports, for clients. Now we can just like, run them through AI with our brand tone and being like, okay, well, this is my do you have any suggestions? Challenge me on that approach. So I think it's there's so many things that we're doing with technology right now. It's really a fun era to be part of right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very helpful, definitely, uh, to have these tweaking the contracts or give you different opinion and answers uh, right on uh, on your screen before contacting any lawyers or developers. That makes sense, of course. Um, yeah, you using and then you definitely use tech to, as you say, reduce friction. And are you using any kind of automation, maybe?
All the time. um, so yeah, especially with client contacts, because it's not everyone that gets in contact with us that wants to buy right away. So, one example that we have right now is clients that have a timeline of more than 12 months. We built an automation that will send them the proper documentation to help them get to that goal and achieve that goal of a 12-month plus purchase. So that's one of the automations. Um, I have ADD, so I need to automate all my tasks, like every single one of them. So in my CRM, if I forgot to put a task with one of the clients, I'll have an automation automatically pop up after 24 hours to remind me to put a task. And that's the same thing for all of our brokers. We have full pipelines of automation to make sure that we don't like miss a document, we don't miss birthdays of our clients. Like I am all about automation and kind of taking off a lot of our mental load, because when we're in a high season and we're dealing with like a 40 transaction at the same time, um it could be easy to let things slip and through the cracks. So we really try to use automations like that to diminish the mental load of always having to take a decision and always thinking about adding task, or like, oh, I need that document, oh, I need to get in contact with the lawyers. So that's really, we really try to reduce the mental load tremendously with automations.
Wonderful. You're doing great. And what what area do you see as rip for innovation, either inside your company or industry wide?
Um, I think in our industry, in the company, um, there's so much technology that are useful just be able to have access to information, um and like I said, create reports, or just being able to summarize everything. So one thing that I do, and I have to stop calling it laziness, but it's more about being effective. But um I'll ask, our AI, hey, can you find me, can you summarize everything that happened in the last month and all the issues of the diario oficial, or can you summarize me, my BBVA email? So I feel that, especially in a fast-paced industry like real estate, um, there's a lot of technology that can help us um, have better access to information, streamline processes that we do over and over again, because it's nothing. It's always the same. Yes, every client has their own particularities, but at the end of the day, the process is always the same for our clients. So streamlining processes, streamlining also, because in Mexico we still don't have computerized books um, for the titles. So
No.
the notaries still have to write it in a physical book. And if you need to do research on a particular property, you have to go to um, that particular notary, and then, or the particular office. So I think there's a lot of technology that can be put into computerizing and everything that we need in the title process. um there's so many use. Like, this is the fun thing about being in a relatively young market, is that, like, sky's the limit to applying technologies, and it's really, really fun for that, because we're literally creating things right now. So it's really nice to be able to have an impact on processes that are going to be around for a really long time.
Yeah, I just starting, and yeah, that's awesome. Um, then let's zoom out a bit. Where do you see Zisla going in the next 12 to 18 months?
12 to 18 months. um I see
Or
Zisla.
more if it's too short?
It's a bit it's not that it's a bit short, 12 to 18. Like, I'd love to be able to stick to that timeline, but I also know that I have to be patient if things want to be done properly. But I
Yeah.
really want to be able to have a database that is really easy for an AI to be able to go through and create reports, within like 5 minutes for our clients, for our developers, because we have to. Right now, like, my developers don't really have access to how many, what's the average per square meter in the area? Um, what's the average size of a one bedroom? Like, so really being able to provide these numbers through an AI that is able to build these reports. For me, I think it's really something that is I'd love to have in 12 to 18 months. Is it possible? Depends on a lot of factors. Um, but also to really have to be able to show clients, well, okay, well, in this condo, this is the history in the last 6 months. Like, how many units were reserved, how many were sold, like, what is the price increase since the beginning. And being able to I'm very data driven, very, very, very. So for me, because I personally feel that it doesn't lie. It's very, numbers are numbers. One is a one everywhere in the world. So that's really the focus that I wanna take for the next 12 to 18 months plus.
And based on strategy, any any new product or any new market, or only Mexico, or or
Yes.
growing, any hiring?
So we're always looking for new markets because, real estate is a cycle. So when a market is a little bit down, we try to be able to bring our clients elsewhere, not just in the specific markets that we are. And the good thing is, in Mexico, there's so many markets that are untapped. So we still have a lot in Mexico to travel. Like right now, Riviera Maya has been known for years, but now we're seeing places like Oaxaca that is a little bit less known, uh, incredibly gorgeous. That is building more and more, so it's staying on top of these emerging markets. And then, you know, once we have a really good solid base in Mexico, solid processes, and we feel confident that we can copy paste the model of Zisla Mexico, I'm open to anywhere where there's, the people that want to be an expat. And, will it be Colombia? Will it be Bali? We've been approached by other countries, but for that we need to be able to have all the technologies and all the systems to be able to really like I said, copy paste, and then adapt to um that new region. But yeah, sky's the limit.
Okay, wonderful. And, if you had to define the biggest opportunity or risk facing your space right now, what would it be?
I think the biggest risk right now is actually it's a human risk. I'm seeing a lot of fear of some of people that are different than us around the world. And I think that's the biggest risk for people to um, have so much fear that they stop going and exploring the world because it's just they're just too afraid. So I think this is really the biggest risk right now, and it breaks my heart, to be very honest, because um I'm someone that's traveled around the world, and I'm the type of person that I want to live with the locals, and I want to have the experience of living with the locals. And I feel like people are getting more and more afraid of doing this. um, so I think this for me personally, I think this is the biggest risk um in the industry and in the world in general, to be very honest.
Of course. No, no, I mean, you're right. And, what about, biggest opportunity?
The biggest opportunity I think is just having we talk a lot about AI right now, and it's great. But I think the biggest opportunity is all these technologies that are literally at your fingertip. You know, we keep I keep forgetting that, my phone that I have in my hand every day is is a little computer that we carry all over the world. And there's so many things that we don't know we can do. So for me, technology is really is in it's booming, and we have to stay on top of it and educated about it. But I think this is the biggest opportunity, is being able to use the tools that we already have, optimize them, and just making the best out of it. Like your phone, your like we said, AI is all over the place, and we love it. But also, like making the best out of social media, making the best out of like podcasts. I think there's so many things out there that we can utilize. And I think technology is really just to be able to take the technology and use it for whatever goal you have. And I think our my main goal with technology is to stay connected with with my clients, with my team, with my family, with my friends. So just using technology and being open to use it as well, in every possible way.
That's right. Yeah, wonderful. And what's one change you'd like to see in the prop tech and international real estate space?
um so in the international real estate space, to have a little bit, it would be nice that to have a little bit more open-mindedness and to have more more information out there for brokers. Because we have a lot of brokers that are coming to us and they're like, hey, I have clients that are interested, but like I don't know what to tell them, I don't know what to proceed. Um and if we could have this, um and I'm not really sure how this would happen, but have, I don't know, like, we used to have the phone books, and you could go and like, okay, if a phone book, international real estate, okay, that would be available to board members, that to be able to also, because it's another way of income. Referrals is great, and we love working with brokers, and they love to hear from us. And there's a lot of times that they're like, oh well, can I do this myself? Can it be another market that I want to get invested in? So I think to have, as much as it's really important to know your local market, to have a better knowledge of international markets and how it works, and to be a little bit, to be a little bit easier to access, those connections.
Yeah, no, no, makes a lot of sense. Um, um, Shane, you've been operating in a complex space. Obviously, real estate is not easy, compliance heavy, international. It's it's not like domestic real estate. A trust sensitive. Um, what's one piece of advice you would give to other founders trying to simplify broken and or outdated markets?
Um, to first really deep dive into the market. Go out there, talk to the lawyers, talk to the developers, talk to other brokers, and really get to know your future allies, because they will be your future allies. Um, and ask a lot of questions. I am the type of person that will ask like a million questions, just because I want to understand not just my pain points, but everyone's pain points. And I want to also understand what goes well. So I think this would be the first thing. And then really focus on being an answer to those pain points, because basically in real estate, we're we're here to alleviate pain points. That's all we do. We help them, narrow down to what clients want, like with their, with their needs. We're taking off these tasks off their plates. So it's really going and focusing on, okay, these are my three main pain points. How can I either eliminate them, make them less painful, because there's things that are always going to be painful, you know. And
Yeah.
I think it's really looking into what creates doubt, what is painful for your clients, for your developers as well, because we are, we are in the middle of two worlds, clients and developers. And you have to be able to know which, like, whatever makes both side ticks. And also, when we get to the point that lawyers are involved or banks are involved, we want to make sure that we understand, like, how we can make everyone's life better. um, Obviously our life also, but I think the less pain points we have, the easier it is for us. And then we can assess the pain points, like, for ourselves after. But it's really focusing on the pain points and kind of like getting them out of the way, and also really putting them forward. Um, so, like us, we had a pain point about transparency. So one of our things that we put forward is that we're very transparent, and we'll give you the information, and we'll give you the resources beforehand. There's no gray, there's no gray zone. So I think using the pain points to your advantage is really, really important.
I love it. Very good. And what's something you have learned about leadership, especially when scaling a platform like Zilsla?
Um, I really learned how to surround myself with people that are very different from me. As much as sometimes I don't relate to those people because we're not the same. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, we don't talk the same language, but they bring something that I would have never seen, or us, like a vision that I didn't have. Um, so to surround myself with people that are very different, the different backgrounds, different nationalities, different religions, everything different. So I try to really surround myself with people that are completely at the opposite of me, um, to keep me stimulated, because they'll always bring a different perspective, which
Sure.
is what you need to grow. Because sometimes I see it, I'll get into like a point that I'm like, oh, I feel like everything is it's not moving, or I feel like brain rot, and then I'm like, okay, get out there, talk with your team, share with your team. Like, I share with my team, like, hey guys, I need your opinion on this, because I don't think I have a solution by myself. I'm not all knowing. So yeah, I do share a lot uh with my team. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect. And I think it's really important to go out there, talk with people, use the people's experiences to your advantage. Like, for me, it's really stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm a big introvert. Um so just exchange, talk with people, talk with different people. Um, and that's what leadership really, uh, you can't do everything on your own. You can do most on your own. And it's a horrible thing that we've kind of, the hyper independence. Building a business, you're not going to do it on your own. You're not going to do it by yourself. You need other people's perspective, experiences, lifestyle to just shake things up and give you other perspective and grow as a person. I think it's really important.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. Yeah, you're right. Learn from the others. We're learning from the others, and especially when they are from another culture, another country, jump on it and
Yeah.
get as much information and give as much information. Yeah, that's your point. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, Wonderful. All right. Before we wrap up, let's run through. a few quick fire questions. I love to do that. It's just short
Good.
answers. First things come to mind. Um, your favorite city in Mexico for real estate right now?
Huatulco.
Okay, I'll check it out. I don't know.
Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll check it out, and you'll tell me
Oh,
more
you
after
have
that.
to.
um, one tool you can't live without running Zisla?
My phone.
Yes. A book or podcast that change how you think about business?
Uh, it's a book about, okay, I think it's Your First Five Moves, it's called. It's by Patrick Bet David or Davis. I can't.
Okay, I don't know. I'll check.
Yeah, it's for me, it spoke to me very, very much. Yes.
Very cool. Perfect. Most underrated skill for scaling in PropTech?
Communication.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that. Share ideas and
Yes.
learn from the others.
Learn
And
from the others.
one founder you think more people should follow?
I'm not into
No,
founders per se. Um,
you can pass.
but yeah, I'll pass on that one because I don't think I have
No,
one
no,
in
of course.
mind.
No, no, don't worry. Um, Shaheen, thanks again for sharing your story, your insights. I think you're building something that brings clarity and confidence to a traditional murky space, and I'm excited to see where you take it. Um, that means we'll do it again, no?
Yes, for sure.
Some,
Thank you so much
some,
for
so
bringing me in.
it was a pleasure. Great insights, great ideas. Great to hear your opinion as well. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. That's it for today's episode of AI and TechConnect. And if you enjoyed it, share it with someone who's building the future, or better yet, someone who should be. And until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep building.